Good morning. Good Sunday morning. Well, the kids and Anna just headed off to Melville Cafe for a brunch, I guess. My son, he goes, I thought we were going for lunch. He sees Mimi having breakfast. Meanwhile, he's only seeing the latter portion of her breakfast. She'd already had 2 pieces of toast and a bowl of cereal, and then she was having something else afterwards. She says, I'm hungry. So they just headed off, walking to Melville Cafe for brunch. I thought it was supposed to rain this weekend. No rain, no rain. Hey, Blue Jay. Blue Jays like hanging around here because they like those tall trees over in front of my neighbor's house. He's got 2 big pines, I guess. Very, very, very tall trees. But, they don't look too healthy. They don't look too healthy. They've got gaps. Whatever. My neighbor said a few years ago that he wanted to take them down. I said, don't take them down. But I see why. Because they've got gaps and they're sickly. It's his business, not mine. So we went to see Ant-Man and the Wasp last night. It was a movie. It had motion. It was a movie. That's about all I can say about it. It wasn't a terribly exciting movie. But then, you know what? I knew that was coming because the first Ant-Man was like that. A movie, not terribly great. So my daughter is moving this week, coming up. I don't think I'll be seeing her. Didn't see her last week. I guess they just haven't got any time to fit in. This is their last weekend home in their house. I saw a picture yesterday. She showed me of, was this morning? We were talking this morning of the move, and the whole living room is in disarray. I don't know why my son isn't helping. I don't know. I can't help. But they could, no? I'll ask. I mentioned that this was the week this morning because I had been talking to my daughter. Well, that's his business. It's their business. So, even though it was supposed to rain and this was supposed to be my dusting and vacuuming weekend, did not happen. I'm so happy. I really don't like dusting and vacuuming. Vacuuming, not so bad, but I really dislike dusting. Always have. Always have. That was my chore. When it was my mom's cleaning day, if I was home, it was my job to do the dusting. She would do everything else. I would do the dusting. And so I hated dusting. Hate dusting. for that reason, I never made my kids do anything like that. They didn't have to do chores. They didn't have to do anything like that around the house. If they wanted to, they could. And they were responsible for keeping their own room clean, but it wasn't, I didn't make them, I didn't even make them do that. Now, if it got out of control, but I let it get out of control because it was their room, not mine. Yes. But when they started losing clothes, or not being able to find clothes. Anyway, so I don't go upstairs much because from what I saw of their place when they lived in Kitchener, neither of them are good at housekeeping. So I keep them downstairs tidy and clean, dusted and vacuumed. The upstairs is their business. And the odd time that I go up, it's just the same as I saw it last time. Every now and then I take something from downstairs that I feel needs to go upstairs, and I move it upstairs because it's my downstairs, they're upstairs. Actually, that's what I was going to do with the box of yes, sports cards. That's been sitting downstairs in the living room, blocking pretty much their way up, but they don't move it. They just walk around it. But since today is dusting and vacuuming day, which I'm not doing, the next dusting and vacuuming day, which will be during the week, I will move his cards upstairs. Not today. Nope. Today is my being outside day. Next week when it rains, I will move their stuff up because it's in the way of my vacuuming. There you go. It's my plan. I'm so good at finding places for things. I will find an excellent place for this. And they won't even notice that the sports cards, hockey cards, baseball cards, both have moved upstairs. I'm devious. You know I'm devious. I love the way my tree, because of the way the leaves, they hang from the one branch, and then the individual, sure, nothing will move when a breeze catches leaves, they move. Not showing what I mean. It's a rather still day. It's a rather still day. Yeah, so I'm going to get back to reading. I'm reading a good book. I'm sure when I open it, I will recall which one it was. Oh yes, this is the one where the planet where humans, or these particular group of humans live is invaded by aliens, taken over. This is where children were living, because at this point these children were separated from their parents and placed somewhere, and I don't remember the storyline anyway. In the end, this one person ends up living on the aliens' planet, and 12 years later he has been living there, and these aliens have this sort of a prophecy. And you know how it is when someone tells you a story about a book they're reading and it's not the book that you're interested in? It's absolutely boring to tell that story. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So, as you can see, I find it to be an interesting book. It's one of my science fiction fantasy books. It's science fiction. And that's the kind of book that I like to read. But even though each one is different from, like this one's very different from anything I've read before, when I tell the story about it, it's like, really makes no sense to someone else who hasn't read the book or is even interested in those kinds of books. So I'm not going to keep doing it. Just let it be known that I'm reading a fascinating book. While I'm not reading my Martin Luther book. It's kind of cool getting together with Veronica the Great, which I did the other day. She is definitely a church-going type of person. Not heavy-duty church-going, and not so much so that she minds my atheism. Not at all. But she's still a churchgoer and does mention it, and we do talk about it. And she found it fascinating that I was reading about Martin Luther. And we talked a bit about that. There are robins around too. Blue jays and robins. The birds that I see the most around here. I haven't seen an oriole, I don't think this summer. In other people's pictures on Facebook, yes. But personally in this area, no. I've seen orioles when I've gone for walks down by the river, yes. But not around here. Around here it's grackles, starlings, blue jays, robins, and chickadees. And there we go. So much for making a video.